Undisputed.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning, guys. How are we?
It ain't no good morning, Jenny.
Well, it is to me. I don't know about you, though.
The Russell Westbrook era has begun in Los Angeles. And at least LA still has the Dodgers and the Rams, because I don't know about your team.
You know
I
what?
don't know.
For today, you're right. I can't even argue with you.
Okay.
I can't even argue with you. I don't know how
you got to try.
I don't even know how I'm going to put up a good defense. My client might go to jail, Skip.
No.
It was one game, right? Just one.
One game,
right?
one game. Okay,
We
thank
can
you.
kind of lead with that. Let's talk about it. The Lakers opening night, it wasn't as smooth as they'd have liked. Shannon agrees. After leading for all three quarters, the wheels came off for LA in the fourth as the Warriors went on to win 121-114. LeBron and AD both had over 30 points, but Westbrook finished with only 8 points in his Lakers debut. And meanwhile, Steph Curry finished with a triple-double despite calling his own play, quote, trash. Shannon, how do you explain this?
Well, if I have to list it in order, Skip, I thought the bench, they got outplayed. They got outscored by 26. Defense, you give up a team that's a jump shooting team, you give up 38 points in the fourth quarter, and then free throw. Skip, I asked you this last year, and I asked you this in the preseason. What happened to AD in free throws? You remember his first year there? They would give the ball to AD. AD would close the game at the free throw line.
He would.
AD was 2 of 7 last night.
And don't let your guy off the hook.
No, Skip. But I never thought LeBron was this great free throw shooter.
Okay.
He's been basically about an average free throw shooter, with the exception of maybe 1 year. I think he shot 80%. But for the most part, he's been a 70, low 70s. In the last couple of years, he's been in the 60s.
3 of the last 4 below 70.
But
he was 3 of 6 last night.
I knew we were in trouble, Skip, in the fourth quarter. When Avery Bradley, they just signed him a day or two ago.
They did.
And he's in the closing lineup. That lets you know that he's searching for something on the defensive end that he can't get from anyone else. Frank Vogel and his rotations. Why would you ever play Russell Westbrook and Rajon Rondo together, Skip? They were on the court for 7 minutes. They were minus 15. And then, you know, when he said, well, I'm going to see if I can get an even worse lineup than that. He put Melo, Westbrook, and Rondo. They're on the court for 4 minutes, minus 13. It's going to take a look, Skip. I think it's somewhere around the All-Star game. Skip, this thing might go. We might have to go the whole season, and then finally it come together come postseason time. I'm going to say the reason why Russell struggled last night, Skip, is that as a kid growing up in L.A., he's bled purple and gold.
He has.
He's always wanted to play for this team. So opening night in Staples, he's amped because he's a very emotional guy. He's always amped to the highest of amptivity. Now he's on another level. And it showed last night, Skip. He was just, and a lot of times he plays like a bull in a china shop.
He does.
He plays right on the cusp of being over the edge. But last night I thought he went to that place, and he didn't play well at all. Normally when AD and LeBron score 30, that's enough to win. Skip, you get 67 and 22 rebounds from those guys, that should be enough, considering of the 10 guys that started the game, you got 3 of the best. You got 3 of the top 5 players that's on the court last night.
You do.
And you lose. When Steph didn't play well at all. He said it was trash. It was. 5 of 21. He didn't shoot the ball from 3 well. Free throws, we know he's money at the free throw line. But they won a game in which he played poorly. But the Lakers, it's going to take some time, Skip. Only thing I can say is one game. We got 81 more of these to go. But if you can't beat a Warriors team when Steph is not playing his best, with no Clay, no Wiseman, they might be a foreshadow of things to come. But I'm going to trust LeBron that he'll figure this out. The bench will get their act together, and Vogel will not put no more of these lineups, especially, Skip, maybe there was a time in the 80s, 90s, you could play a lineup with Melo, Rondo, and Westbrook, but not in today's NBA. They don't shoot the ball well enough from the perimeter in order for them to play together. But I thought the bench, the defense, and the free throws were the reason why we lost this ball game.
Okay. Big picture. If I had not watched what happened last night at Staples, and I just glanced at this box score I hold in my hands, I would think, I would think the Lakers won this by 20, which I facetiously predicted they would do on yesterday's show.
Right.
Because at a glance, I see that the only superstar left on the Golden State Warriors, I don't put Draymond in that category.
Right.
Obviously, Clay not ready to come back off an Achilles tear on top of an ACL. But I look at Steph Curry, and he's 5 of 21 and 2 of 8 from 3. And 21 points is not all that bad, but it's such a horrendous shooting night.
It took 21 shots to get it.
That's what I'm saying. But by his standards, that is, as he called it right after the game, a trash night.
Yeah, yes.
And then I look at your big two, your best 2 players on the floor. And I think, wow, LeBron, boy, he had a hot hand. This is about as hot as you'll ever see because he made 5 of 11 threes. And because I did watch the game, I saw him make 4 or 5 fadeaways that were like spectacular.
They touched the ceiling.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so he makes 13 or 23 and winds up with 34 points. And his co-star, AD, goes 15 to 26 and winds up with 33 points. Well, if I see 34 and 33 from your big 2, maybe your biggest 2 in basketball, I'm saying that should do it, right?
Yes.
So 2 superstars star and 1 superstar goes trash. And I'm saying, wait a second. And then I look at the final score, and Golden State wins by 7. How could that be? Well, now we go to your 3rd star, who looked last night like your 4th or 5th star.
Yeah.
Russell, as I call him, and dubbed him a long time ago, Westbrook. Well, he opens up at Staples, first time back in his hometown of L.A., keys to the kingdom handed to him by the king. He's the new point guard, and he opens up 0 for 4 from 3. Well, is anybody surprised by that?
No.
Because he shot 31% last year from 3, and that was actually pretty good because he had 3 straight years before that where he shot sub 30% from 3. He's horrendous. I've dubbed him, proclaimed that he is simply the worst jump shooting superstar we've ever seen in the history of this league.
I can't say I agree with you.
Okay? And yet, he winds up last night, the man who, for the last 5 years, triple-doubled, averaged triple-doubles for the whole year for 4 of the last 5. He goes triple-single. Triple-single. Wait, no, this is Russell Westbrook. He goes 8, 5, and 4. You have to go back over the last 133 games that he's played. You can only find one of these kind of games, a triple-single. It was weirdly a couple of years back at San Antonio. Maybe it might have been last year at San Antonio. I looked it up this morning. But it was just one of those weird anomaly games where he just triple-singled.
Right.
He had a bad shooting night, and they got blown out by 20, and it looked like nobody on Washington was into the game.
Right.
But again, that's 133 games to find one of these. So what did I see from Russ? As the game started, I saw a guy who's been under fire, principally, foremost for me, about you are nothing but a solo act stat machine, and I love to watch you. You're a must-see TV, but you don't fit in what they do.
Yes.
Because the man who has handed you the keys to his kingdom, the king, he wants to segue over to the 2 or the 3, and actually, he's still the best point guard in basketball. He's still the best passer in basketball. He still has the highest IQ in basketball, even in year 19.
But he still was on the ball. He skipped. Bron was still on the ball more than I thought he would be.
Why was that? Because Russ says, I got to do this right. So he's under fire. He's on the hot seat, and he's looking around, and he just doesn't look like himself because he is going to defer to a fault, and he is going to sacrifice to a fault. So he's dribbling the ball up the floor. In the bad old days, especially going back to the KD OKC days, when he dribbles the ball up the floor, about 2/3 of the time he's going to take one look at KD, and I'm bulling China shop. I'm going to the basket.
I'm going to the rack.
I am hell-bent. See rim, attack rim. And if the 2 of them meet me at the rim, I'll leave it for Steven Adams to dunk, and I'll get another assist. Did I see much of that at all last night? I'm not sure I saw any of that, Russ, last night, right? And when he did drive it, it was tentative. It was timid. And I never thought I would put those 2 adjectives in the same sentence with Russell Westbrook.
But, Skip, if you watch the way the games, and there are only 2 games on last night, they're not calling that little ticky-tack.
No, they weren't giving it to him, and he was begging, man.
Even in the previous game, Skip, they're not giving you the ticky-tack stuff that you normally get in the last couple of years.
And even LeBron doesn't get it anymore. Nope. They're both like this after driving the ball.
AD.
And there was nothing like where they got blatantly hacked, but they got body fouled or,
And normally in a couple of years past, they would give him that call. But Russ is arguing the call. Skip, you remember he slapped the ball out of Draymond? He hit Draymond's hand. It was a foul. He's arguing and gets a tech. Bruh, you fouled him.
Okay. So what do I see? Now we look at the hidden stats here. that don't lie. And I'm looking at LeBron James. Do you realize that 2 years ago for your Lakers, he led the league in assists at 10.2 assists per night.
Right.
Per game. 10.2. What did he have last night? 5. He had half of what he averaged 2 years ago to lead the league. It's wrong. He's too good. It's what he